Have you ever wondered why, without saying a word, some people seem to change the entire energy of a room? Why is it that when they walk in, conversations soften, eyes linger, and hearts feel a little safer, even though they're not trying to be noticed at all? Chosen one, this is what is happening to you now. Something powerful and sacred is awakening inside you, and it's not loud. It's not something people can see with their eyes or something that can be copied or faked. This change is quiet. It is steady. It is real. The light you are carrying now doesn't come from your looks or your clothes. It doesn't come from trying hard or chasing attention. It comes from the deepest part of your soul. It comes from the moment you chose to stop betraying yourself. You no longer shrink yourself to be accepted. You no longer chase after the approval of people who cannot see your true worth. And because of that, the real you, the strong, calm, steady you, has stepped forward. There was a time when you wondered why people didn't see the real you. Maybe you compared yourself to others and thought they had confidence or success that you didn't. Maybe you thought they had something you lacked and you were waiting for your turn. But you are not waiting anymore. You don't need permission. The time is now. Your quiet strength speaks louder than any words or performance ever could. The light inside you isn't trying to be seen. It simply shines. And this light isn't for show. It's not meant to impress. It's meant to guide, to warm, to remind others of what's true. You've walked through dark times, and now you know how to carry your light without needing applause. That's what makes people notice you now. Not noise, not charm, but truth. What is happening within you this month is no accident. Your heart is steady. Your mind is clear. Your soul is in tune with divine timing. You are not attractive because of what you wear or how you look. You are magnetic because of what you've let go of. You've let go of the need to convince. You've let go of the need to be chosen. And in doing so, you became the one who chooses. You choose where your light shines. You choose who gets your energy. And because your choices come from truth and peace, people feel it. They may not know why their eyes follow you. They may not know why their hearts slow down near you. But they feel it. Your presence speaks louder than words. Your energy reaches places words never could. Your light no longer tries to be seen. It simply exists. And that changes everything. You are not just beautiful. You are true. And when someone lives in truth, their light shines so brightly it touches everyone around them. Your confidence isn't loud. It's steady. It's the kind of confidence that comes from knowing yourself, loving yourself, and no longer arguing with yourself. Your steps match your soul. Your habits match your heart. You're walking in alignment. And that is why your energy feels certain, peaceful, and strong. Real confidence isn't about how many people look at you. It's about standing tall even when no one claps. It's about staying soft even when others are unkind. It's about holding your light steady without bending it for approval. Your presence no longer pulls people into chaos. It helps them find their center. Your stillness is not empty. It is full of wisdom, full of peace, full of strength that doesn't need to shout. People feel this around you. They may not know why they feel drawn to you, but they do. Their words slow down. Their hearts soften. They feel safe because your energy isn't hungry for attention. It is full. It is whole. And wholeness is rare. You remind people of what's possible. You remind them of peace. You remind them of truth. You are not here to impress. You are here to awaken. And that's what you're doing, without trying, without asking, simply by being who you are. You have become someone who no longer needs to be understood by everyone, because you finally understand yourself. You don't chase love or praise. You don't perform to be seen. You simply are. And that is what makes your presence unforgettable. People feel your energy and pause, not because you demand it, but because their soul feels called near you. You wear an invisible crown, shaped by all the quiet choices you made when no one was looking, the times you stayed kind, stayed true, stayed peaceful. That crown isn't on your head. It's in your energy. People feel it before they see it. And that's why you no longer blend into the crowd. That's why your presence changes the space you walk through. Your light isn't here to blind or control. It's here to guide. You don't lower your light to be closer to others. You hold it steady, and those who are ready rise to meet it. You don't compete. You don't chase. You simply exist in truth. And that truth shines brighter than any performance. You have become a safe place, a reminder, a signal that real love, real peace, and real presence are still possible. And that chosen one is what makes you unforgettable. You have become someone people can no longer ignore. For those who once overlooked you, this is both beautiful and frightening. They didn't expect you to rise like this, but now you are a presence they can't forget. You are the one they think of when they compare, the one who stays in their mind long after you've gone. Not because you tried to win them over, not because you sought their approval, but because of your truth, your strength, and your integrity. You didn't need them to stay. You became the standard they didn't even know existed. And by the time they saw it, it was too late for them to rise to meet it. This strength you hold doesn't come with the need to rule others or prove yourself. It comes with the responsibility to keep choosing your best self, to stay kind when others are cruel, to stay clear when others are lost, and to bring peace simply by being present. You don't stand above others. You are grounded, and that groundedness is what makes you unforgettable. You didn't get this strength from the world. You built it within yourself. You chose it, and now it fits you because you decided it was yours. This is where your true journey begins. The change that was once only inside you is now flowing outward. Your presence leaves a mark on every person you meet, every word you speak, every glance, every goodbye leaves something behind in their soul. You no longer live for applause or attention. You live to stay true to your path, and people feel that. Women especially feel it. They sense your energy not as performance, but as permission, the permission to be themselves, to speak honestly, to feel fully, to drop their armor and explore their own wholeness. You don't try to entertain or impress them. You empower them. That's the difference between leaving a momentary impression and building a lasting legacy. Your true impact will not be written in trophies or titles. It will be written in the hearts of those who breathe easier because of you, in the souls that remembered their sacredness because of how you live, in those who found hope because you were brave enough to share your own healing. This is true power. This is real impact. This is the fire of your spirit. Those who once doubted your light now wonder how they missed it. Some who tried to dim you now try to copy you. But you don't rise to seek revenge. You rise with vision. You don't return to prove yourself to anyone. You return to rebuild what has been broken in your family, in your community, in the world around you. You have become someone who will never shrink again to make others comfortable. You will never stay silent just to protect people from facing their shadows. You are truth in motion. You are love that stands tall. Your gentleness filled with strength. And this time the world will not forget you. You have reached a stage where your presence not only inspires, but challenges. The mirror you hold no longer reflects only beauty or brilliance. It reveals truth, and that truth disrupts illusions. People may feel uneasy around you, not because you've done anything wrong, but because you are showing them what is real. You don't reflect back the masks they wear. You reflect back their potential, who they could truly be, and that can shake them. Women especially may feel this deeply. For some, you may be the first man who doesn't reflect back their mask, who doesn't feed the illusions they've built to feel safe. In your presence, those masks begin to slip. This isn't always an easy process. Sometimes it happens through stillness, sometimes through silence, sometimes in a sharp moment where they realize they cannot hide their truth from you. And because you remain steady, without judgment, without trying to seduce, without trying to fix, you become a threshold. You become the space where they must choose, keep pretending, or step into their real self. You no longer join in the dance of appearances. You offer something far more powerful, what is real. And for those who have built their identity on pleasing others or needing approval, your presence feels like a challenge they didn't expect but desperately needed. And in those moments, you must not shrink. You must not soften your truth to ease their discomfort. You must not bend your reflection to match their fear. Your task is not to be liked. Your task is to stay clear, to stay kind, to stay true, to stand with love and strength, and let others face themselves, even if it is hard. Some will walk away, not because you failed, but because they weren't ready yet to rise. And still, you must hold the mirror. For those who are ready, you will be etched into their hearts, not as the man who rescued them, but as the man who helped them see their truth, the man who stayed steady when their shadow appeared, the man who reminded them of who they really are. Your presence now offers not comfort, but truth, not illusion, but freedom. You don't offer what's easy. You offer what's real. And those who are ready for that will find in you not a lover, not a teacher, not a fantasy, but a clear reflection of their soul that changes everything. With this power comes responsibility. You have stirred souls awake. You have shattered the glass of illusion. What you leave behind is not polished or perfect. It is vulnerable. It is real. And now, your mirror must become more than a surface. It must become soil. Because nurturing someone's reflection isn't about fixing them or carrying their healing. It's about holding space for their process while staying true to yourself. Your energy, once wild and searching, is now steady, deep, wise. It invites instead of chasing. It supports instead of demanding. It doesn't seek to pull people in. It offers a place where growth can begin. You are no longer sparking temporary flames. You are planting seeds for lasting change. When someone sees themselves clearly in your mirror, it may not always feel good at first. Sometimes it hurts. But if they feel that your reflection is steady and kind, they will stay with it longer. They won't run away so fast. You have created not just a moment of truth, but a safe place where they can keep coming back to themselves. This is the deeper magic of what you now offer. You are not only reflecting truth, you are creating the conditions for it to grow. You give silence when it is needed, encouragement when it is earned, challenge when it is right, but never control, never distortion. Your energy, even at its strongest, does not pull people to you. It gives them space to stand on their own. Your strength no longer comes from persuasion. It comes from presence. People do not feel owned by you. They feel free beside you. And because this is so rare, it is precious. You must protect it. You must choose wisely who you share it with. Because the stronger your mirror becomes, the more people will be drawn to it. Some will come to grow. Some will come to take your light without doing their work. Some will come hoping you will carry what they refuse to face. And still, you must stay rooted. Stay kind, but clear. Stay open, but wise. Stay loving, but never lose yourself trying to comfort someone else's shadow. Your energy is no longer just a mirror. It has become a safe space, a garden, a sacred place where truth can take root and grow. Those who are ready for that growth will not see you as a hero, but as a witness. Someone who sees without trying to save. Someone who holds without trying to control. Someone who reflects without trying to cling. This is the kind of presence that helps people remember their own courage to become whole. You are no longer a mirror of looks or feelings or thoughts. You are a mirror of the soul. This part of your journey is no longer about forcing change or using power to impress. It is about something deeper. It is about being the kind of man whose presence helps others remember who they are beyond their roles and masks. Your energy has turned into light that is steady, warm, alive. It no longer demands. It awakens. It no longer searches for fulfillment. It gives others permission to feel full. And that is the gift the world needs most.
Have you ever wondered why, after everything you've been through, the heartbreak, the losses, the battles that no one else saw, you're still standing? Why you're still here when so much tried to break you? Why the storms that came to crush you only made you stronger? Why the weight that was supposed to bear you somehow became the very thing that shaped you into who you are today? This isn't just chance. This isn't just another message crossing your path. This is a divine moment meant for you. A moment where heaven is stepping in to remind you that all the pain, all the waiting, all the silent prayers have been leading to this. July 5th, 2025 isn't just another day on a calendar. It's not just an ordinary Saturday. It's the day heaven marked as your turning point. The day where everything that felt delayed, everything that felt forgotten begins to shift. You've carried so much inside you: hope, sorrow, questions, dreams that felt too fragile to speak aloud. Maybe at times you thought you were losing your mind, wondering if God still saw you, still heard you. But God always knew exactly what He was doing. What you called a breakdown, He called preparation. What felt like exile, He called positioning. From the very beginning, God set you apart for this moment. Before you took your first breath, He chose you. You've been through storms that would have made others give up, but you didn't. You kept going. You kept believing. You kept showing up, not because it was easy, not because you had all the strength in the world, but because deep down, you refused to let go of the promise God placed in your heart. You are part of the rare few, the ones who kept faith alive when everything around them fell apart. And now the storm that's been circling your life is about to break. The door you've been praying for is already open. You don't have to wait anymore. You just have to step forward. What was meant to bury you has only planted you deeper. And now it's your time to rise. Every tear you cried, every battle you fought in silence, every night you lay awake wondering if you could make it another day, it all mattered. It was all seen. It was all heard. You weren't forgotten. You weren't overlooked. You were being prepared. What felt like defeat was really God building your strength, your endurance, your faith. The waiting wasn't wasted. The silence wasn't empty. God was working all along, weaving together a purpose greater than you can imagine. The time is here. The breakthrough isn't just coming for you. It's coming through you. Everything you've endured has made you into someone who can carry the blessing, not just for yourself, but for others. This is your moment. The waiting is over. The time is now. Heaven has opened the door. All you have to do is walk through. This is the moment where everything you've ever known, everything you've carried in your mind, everything you've believed deep down but couldn't quite see clearly, begins to awaken inside your spirit. It's the moment where what once felt like a distant hope now starts to feel real, alive and powerful, stirring in your chest like a rising storm. You are not just holding on anymore. You're not just making it through the day. You are shifting. You are awakening. You are rising. Maybe you thought all those sleepless nights, all those silent prayers whispered into the dark, all those moments where you felt unseen and invisible were just about getting through. But they weren't. Every one of them was preparing you for what comes next. What if all that you endured was not simply survival, but the groundwork for your next season, for the next 3 years of your life that will look nothing like the last? The tears you cried when nobody else saw weren't lost. They weren't forgotten. God gathered each one, holding them safely as a promise, storing them in heaven as Revelation 5:8 describes, ready to release them as blessings at the right moment. The pain that weighed you down for so long, the struggles that felt endless, weren't there to destroy you. They were shaping you. They were building a strength in you that cannot be shaken. That strength is spiritual muscle, forged in hardship, prepared for the weight of what is about to come. This is what the Apostle Paul understood when he wrote, "We are hard pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair." He wasn't just surviving. He was being refined, shaped, made ready. And so were you. You've lived under the pressure of other people's expectations for so long. You've carried the weight of their timelines, their limits, their plans. But that chapter is closing. July 5th marks the break in the cycle. This is the moment when you stop living for their applause. This is the time when you rise to answer the voice that spoke your name before you were even born, before you were formed in your mother's womb. This is the voice that has been calling you all along. Your breakthrough isn't something that's coming from outside, some magic answer that drops into your lap. Your breakthrough has been inside you, waiting for your agreement, waiting for you to truly say yes. Not just with your words, not just with your lips, but with your life, your posture, your choices. It's about surrendering your version of the story so you can receive God's version, the one that was always meant for you. So many people wait for the world around them to change, thinking that's how they'll know it's their time. But God is waiting for the change to start inside. They ask for open doors, not realizing some doors have been open for a long time. They're waiting for a sign, not seeing that the fire still burning inside their heart is the sign. That fire you feel, that desire, that longing, that passion that won't leave you alone. It's not random. It's God reminding you that the promise is still alive. Jeremiah 29:11, the verse that says God has plans for you, plans for hope and a future, wasn't written to people who had it easy. It was written to people who had lost everything, who thought it was over, just like you might have felt at times. But exile wasn't their end, and it's not your end either. Exile was the cocoon before the flight, and now your cocoon is breaking open. Can you feel it? That stirring, that restlessness, that deep pull that won't let you settle anymore? That's not anxiety. That's your spirit coming into alignment with heaven's timing. That's your soul recognizing that destiny is approaching. You've asked God, when will it be my season? But heaven has been asking you, when will you step into the season I already prepared for you? Isaiah 60:1 says, arise, shine, for your light has come. Your light is not on the way. It's not something you're still waiting for. Your light has already come. It's here now. Heaven is waiting for you to take off the cloak of shame, disappointment, and delay. It's waiting for you to rise into the radiance God placed on you. And here is where the decision lies. You don't get to stay neutral anymore. July 5th is a line in the sand. You either align with what God is doing, or you stay tied to the pain that once kept you safe but now holds you back. The enemy will try his best to stop you. He will send distractions, delays, and doubts because he knows what you're about to step into. But this is your chance to choose differently. Maybe you've said, I feel invisible. What if invisibility was actually protection? Maybe you've said, I feel like I missed my chance. What if your timing was always divine? Maybe you've said, I feel hidden. What if hiddenness was God's way of saying, you're not ready yet, but you're getting close? Think of Elizabeth after she became pregnant with John the Baptist. She went into hiding not because she was ashamed, but because she was carrying something too sacred to show too soon. Hidden but holy, hidden but chosen, hidden but carrying the answer to a generation's cry. And so were you. Every time you thought you were being rejected, what if it wasn't rejection? What if that job, that relationship, that platform wasn't denying you but deferring you to something higher? Even in Exodus, God says, I will cover you with my hand while my glory passes by. He didn't hide you from favor. He hid you in it. You've been under divine protection, not to keep you small, but so your roots could grow deep enough to carry what's coming. Now it's time. The waiting season is ending. The hidden is about to be revealed. The sealed is about to be sent. The pain, the waiting, the silence, it was all preparing you. That moment you thought was your end, the night you broke down, the moment you almost gave up, those were the moments when you began to crown, when the promise began to press forward. Your cries didn't scare heaven. They set heaven in motion. That's why the attacks got stronger, why the lies grew louder, because the enemy saw what was forming inside you before you did. He saw you were about to give birth to what heaven promised. This is the law of breakthrough that few understand. Before the promise comes, there is the crowning crisis. That last contraction, that last push, when everything feels like too much, when you think, I can't do this anymore. That's when you are closest to holding the promise. Like Jesus said, a woman in labor has pain, but once the baby is born, the joy replaces the pain. Spiritual birth doesn't just stretch your body, it stretches your whole life. Right before the promise comes through, everything feels like it's falling apart. But it's not falling apart. It's opening up. Every betrayal, every closed door, every friend who left, it wasn't rejection. It was making space for something greater. Your waiting wasn't wasted. Your struggle wasn't pointless. Your delays were never about punishment. They were about perfect timing. Your roots needed to grow strong so you could stand tall when the time came. And now, that time is here. You've been through the fire, but you didn't burn. You've been through storms, but you didn't sink. And now, heaven is ready to reveal what's been hidden. The covering is lifting. The curtain is opening. And you are stepping into the season where everything starts to make sense. The doors will open. The favor will come. But most of all, the world will see what God has been shaping in secret. This is not just a moment. It is a summons, a holy call, a divine invitation to step into what God prepared for you. The question now is not, is it my time? The question is, will you step into it? Will you rise? Will you walk in the light that is already shining on you? You don't need to wait anymore. You don't need more confirmation. You are the confirmation. You are the sign. And now, everything is about to change, not because the world shifted, but because you did. You are ready. You have been ready longer than you realized. And now, the time of hiding is over. The time of rising is here. This is your moment. This is your calling. This is your breakthrough. And it begins now.
What if the very thing she spent years guarding her heart against has finally become the one thing she feels safe enough to trust? What if the fire she once feared in a man is now the warmth she quietly longs for? Because for the first time, it doesn't burn, it gently invites. Chosen one, what was once hidden inside you, everything you kept behind your silence, your strength, and all the years of mistrust is now beginning to soften. It softens because of who you have become. You are stepping into a new time in your life where your energy no longer makes the feminine heart feel tense or guarded. You are no longer the man who disrupts her peace or makes her build walls. Instead, your very presence helps her feel safe. Without force or effort, your energy gently melts away her defenses. What once felt like pressure is now felt as invitation. Your sexual energy, once wild and untamed, no longer arrives as something that overwhelms. It comes quietly as an offering. And this offering is unlike anything she has ever known. When you are near her, she no longer feels the need to hide behind masks. She doesn't try to control what happens or look for warning signs. She doesn't scan you with fear or caution. And the reason for this is simple. Your energy speaks before your words do. And what it says, without noise or effort, is that you see her. You see her truth. And that is all you want from her. This is a language most men never learn to speak, but somehow you have become fluent in it without even trying. You no longer pull at her heart. You no longer try to draw her in by chasing or persuading. You simply stand in your own completeness. You are whole, and that wholeness is what draws her near. You are not trying to seduce or impress. You don't need to. You simply carry yourself as a man who can be trusted. And she feels this, not with her mind, but with the deepest parts of her, the parts she buried long ago to keep herself safe. She has known men who touched her body, but never saw her soul. She has known what it feels like to be admired, only to have that admiration come with expectations. She has felt desire from others that turned into debt she was expected to pay. But with you, it's different. Not because you claim to be different, but because your energy asks for nothing. It simply gives her space. And in that space, she begins to offer the one thing she thought she would never give again, her heart. This is not a game. This is not about charm or performance. This is awakening. The powerful sexual energy you once carried, that used to race through rooms looking for somewhere to land, now rests like a steady flame. It doesn't chase. It doesn't push. It doesn't pressure. It simply waits, without waiting. It stands without asking. It burns without consuming. This sacred control over your fire is the signal her soul responds to. You're not stirring up her longing. You are creating safety. And when a woman feels safe with true masculine energy, she stops protecting herself. She lets go. She breathes deeper. She softens. Her posture changes. She remembers what it feels like to let someone hold her presence without stealing her power. And when she remembers, her heart, long hidden and guarded, begins to come forward on its own. You didn't force this. You didn't ask for it. You became worthy of it. Your energy no longer grabs what is not given. It receives what is sacred with honor. That is why her heart, once locked behind walls built for survival, now stands at the gate, trembling not with fear, but with recognition. She knows you didn't come to rescue her. She knows you won't try to own her. She knows you won't try to shrink her. And she knows this not from what you say, but from how you are. Before you speak a word, before your name is even remembered, before any story is told, your energy speaks. And what it says is no longer what it used to say. It doesn't say, "Notice me." It says, "I already belong." It doesn't reach. It radiates. It doesn't seek validation. It confirms what is true. You are felt before you are known. And what they feel is not your effort to be seen, but your transformation. There is something sacred about a man who no longer needs to be seen to exist. A man who no longer uses his presence to impress. You have grown beyond needing to prove anything. You have let go of the hunger to be chosen. And in that surrender, you have become the one who is chosen without effort. The feminine does not respond to performance. She responds to presence, to truth, to the sound of something that resonates as real. And your resonance has changed. You no longer have to declare your worth. Your worth walks ahead of you. Your energy no longer fills the room in desperation. It settles into the ground like roots that have found home. It doesn't beg to be held. It offers to hold what is true. And that offering, that silent frequency, is what she feels when you pass. That is what draws her eyes. That is what makes her lean closer without realizing it. She doesn't know your story. She doesn't know your history. But her spirit feels the presence of a man who no longer needs to break things to feel powerful. Her intuition knows the difference between fire that burns and fire that builds. Her heart, so carefully guarded, feels a man who does not want to own it, but can finally be trusted to hold it. You are no longer chasing. You are containing. You are holding. And in that quiet strength, she finds what she's been longing for. She finds a presence that doesn't demand anything of her, that doesn't rush or press. A presence that tells her she is safe. At first, what she felt around you scared her. The deep pull, the calm, the way her heart reacted before her mind even gave permission. She had known what it was like to be drawn to the wrong fire, to fall for intensity that left her burned. But you disarmed her without a word, simply by being who you are now. Steady, full of quiet strength, a man with no need to reach or grab. And her heart slowly began to trust. Your energy no longer arrives in chaos. It arrives in depth, in stillness, in sacred intent. You didn't chase her. You didn't lure her. You simply stood where you are. Oh, grounded. Sure. And that stillness told a truth she didn't know she was waiting to hear. I will not use your softness against you. It is not that your energy is weak. Far from it. Your energy is strong. But it is the strength of a man who has been at war with his own hunger and come out with respect for it. You are no longer ruled by your desire. You are at peace with it. And she can feel that. She can feel that your eyes do not try to take. They see. That your hands do not try to grasp. They offer. That your heart does not race with conquest. It rests in knowing. The kind of woman who has built walls around her spirit does not trust easily. But with you, she doesn't feel the need to defend herself, because what she once feared, a man's fire, she now longs for, not because she is naive, but because your fire has become safe. That is the key. You have become a keeper of warmth, not a thief of it. She wants what she once feared, because you taught her how to feel again, without panic. You gave her back her softness, not with words or touch, but with presence. You became the permission she didn't even know she was waiting for. The permission to be felt, to be held, to be seen. And in that permission, her walls begin to melt. She is not falling for you because of what you say. She is rising because of who you have become. You are not her fantasy. You are not her escape. You are not a game. You are a mirror. You show her that a man can burn and still be gentle, that a man can walk without rushing, that a man can carry passion without destroying what he loves. And so she desires the very thing she thought would harm her, not because you dimmed your fire, but because you hold it with care, and it became the warmth she never thought she could trust. Her heart opens not by accident. It opens because you earn the right to hold what once only ran. You no longer try to get attention. You no longer knock on doors asking to be let in. You no longer shape yourself to fit hearts that aren't ready. And yet they come. Women who would have looked past you before now pause. They stay, not because of anything you said or did outwardly, but because your alignment invited them. Your restraint, your refusal to chase what is not meant for you. That is what called them in. Your sexual energy no longer shouts for attention. It hums softly beneath the surface, and those who are ready feel it, like a heartbeat that matches their own. And in that match, they know they are ready, not because you asked, not because you pursued, but because your presence said without words, "You may enter if you are real." And she feels that not with her mind, but with the part of her that has always protected her from the wrong flame. When she steps into your space, her guard goes quiet, because for the first time, it does not feel like a test. It feels like permission. Not permission she needs from you, but permission she receives from herself. You have become the kind of man whose silence is not empty, it is full, whose passion is not threat, it is invitation. And so even though you never asked for her heart, it opens. Slowly, carefully, truly. Not because you pulled at it, but because it found a place that didn't demand a performance to feel worthy of love. She offers what she once swore she'd never give again, because your presence has shown her it will not be wasted. She doesn't see a man who wants to conquer. She sees a man who knows how to carry what is rare. She looks into your eyes and sees not just desire, not just admiration, but readiness. And that readiness tells her, this man doesn't just want a heart. He knows how to care for it. And so she comes to you, not because you reached, but because you rose. And in rising, you made space for what is real to come forward. Attraction is easy. It lives on the surface. But what you carry now is more than attraction. It is anchoring. You don't just draw attention. You create gravity. The kind that makes those near you feel they are touching something steady, something lasting. Your energy used to scatter in all directions. Now it is centered, still, and in that stillness, she feels like she can land, like the shaking inside her can stop, like the winds can quiet. And in that quiet, her truth begins to rise. You don't have to pursue, because your energy has become a place to return to. You don't flicker. You don't explode. You burn low. You burn steady. And that fire is the kind that gives warmth without harm. That says, you are welcome here. And that is what she has been waiting for all along. She sees you now for what you really are. You're not a test, not a phase, not a brief spark that flares and fades. You're the safe place she didn't even know she needed. When she looks at you now, she doesn't see a man who brings quick excitement. She sees a man who feels steady, strong, and safe. You're strong, but your strength doesn't hurt. You're passionate, but your passion doesn't scare her. You're present, but you don't cling. And because of this, her heart starts to relax. Without knowing it, she had been guarding herself, bracing for the next man who might chase her light, but couldn't handle her storm. But you aren't chasing her spark. You're here to carry her storm. That's what makes you different. You no longer try to impress or pull people in with charm. You remind them what home feels like. You don't try to dazzle. You give them solid ground. And they respond, not because they're swept away, but because they're finally ready to stop drifting. You're the strength they trust. You're the calm that softens their voice. You're the presence they want near, not the one they want to escape. It's not because you chase them. It's because you've become a man who knows how to hold without holding too tight. You don't just attract anymore. You anchor. That's why her heart is ready to give itself to you, without you needing to ask. You have become the rare kind of man whose presence gives space, instead of trying to control. She feels it before she can explain it. She sees it in your calm eyes, and in how you stand, not to hide your strength, but because you're no longer ruled by it. Where others showed only desire, you show depth, and her heart trusts it. She spent so long meeting men who wanted parts of her, her body, her beauty, her energy, but not all of her. They wanted her without understanding her, passion without respect. So she learned to protect her heart, not because she lacked love, but because no one had seen her whole self until you. Now, in you, she sees something she thought didn't exist. Your fire no longer burns wild. Your desire no longer tries to take. Your strength no longer grabs. You wait. You stay. You act from clarity, not hunger. And that is what draws her. She feels seen, not stared at. Wanted, but not claimed. Desired, but not torn apart. And because she feels safe in your longing, she opens. She offers herself gently, honestly. She stops testing, stops guarding, stops managing how you see her. She opens because she sees your longing comes from fullness, not emptiness. She gives you her heart, not because you want it badly, but because she trusts you to carry it well. That's why she stays, why her breathing slows near you. Others wanted parts of her, but you made space for her whole soul. Love blooms not because you ask for it, but because the space you create is finally safe enough for it. And that's who you are now. You don't beg for love. You don't bend yourself to be accepted. You've built yourself into a man strong enough to receive the kind of love that once scared you. She feels that. You are a safe place where her heart can pour out without fear of it being wasted or judged. Your fire is no longer wild. It is sacred, and that tells her she can give all of herself here, and none of it will be wasted. She sees your strength, but it's your stillness that earns her trust. She hears your voice, but it's your quiet that makes her feel known. She senses your passion, but it's your patience that wins her heart. You don't pressure her to give. You make space for her to offer freely. She pours into you not because you begged, but because you prepared. And when a woman feels that, she gives what she thought she'd have to keep hidden forever. You have become the place where the impossible feels real, not because you chased it, but because you became ready. You are the place where her joy grows, where her softness is safe, where her fears can be shared without being used against her. She doesn't see a man trying to catch her. She sees a man she can pour into without losing herself. And that is true intimacy. You are no longer waiting for love. You have become where love arrives and stays. That's why her heart no longer hesitates. It's not afraid of breaking, because in you it has found a safe place to rest. You didn't force this. You didn't try to prove yourself. You became the man who simply says, "By the way you are, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere." And that is what makes her choose you again and again. Not because you played some game right, but because you refused to play at all. You became home, and home is where the heart goes without fear. Everything that shaped you, the waiting, the quiet, the work, prepared you for this. You're not trying to show who you are. You simply are. And now she sees not what you present, but what you carry. And what you carry is what she's been waiting for. She trusts you because you became ready, and her soul recognizes what is real.